Welcome back to the next episode of Philosophy of Gaming. Today, another or no video. And this one is camping or no.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, so do you agree with camping in video games? Do you think people should be camping? Do you think that it should be against the rules, taboo, whatever it is? That's what we're going to discuss today. And at the end of it, as Shawn said in the previous video, we will have a definitive answer one way or the other, whether it does or does not belong in games.
I will have a definitive answer one way or another. Marshal is still questionable given his track record.
Track record's one game, one show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another installment of Pod Gaming's Blank or No! Alright folks, here are the rules. Each episode, your hosts Marshal and Shawn will discuss a certain aspect of video gaming. Each host will present their case for whether or not the trope is a good idea. Take it away, Marshal and Shawn!
So before we get into that, I just want to make a quick public statement. As it is apparent, this is our first recording day since the unfortunate hair bust that I had to go through, right?
Yeah.
One episode prior.
When you do that air slash... No, that's...
That looks like you're getting your hair cut, man.
Who's getting the haircut? You called hair enforcement on.
I had to. What was I going to do?
And that's a wrap.
Well, not exactly.
This wasn't part of the bet.
It's the hair shot, buddy.
Let him go, man. So long. So long, sucker! How was it down at the station?
We don't talk about what happens there. But no, I just want to say this. A bet is a bet. Mm-hmm. I'm a man of my word, and I held up my end of the bargain. I am not willing in any way to concede, though, that you're better at Smash Bros. Than I am.
I thought that was the point.
It was just one game, and it's a game that I lost, and I acknowledge that.
All right.
There's one other thing I wanted to mention, too. I think I know why you chose this haircut for me. It's because it's very similar to the way you get your haircut. It's almost like you're trying to metaphorically lift your leg and mark your territory on me. So I get it, but
I did it because I didn't want to make it too bad for you.
But also, I got to admit, doing my hair today, it's growing on me.
Yeah?
Pun intended.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it, but yeah, I see what you're doing there. So, getting into it now, camping or no? I think that you know more or less where I stand on it just because we've kind of talked about this in the past before, just like, off camera. But
yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah, so I'm not the biggest fan of camping in general. I don't hate it entirely, but I think that the games were not built for camping to exist.
Can I stop you right there?
You did.
Oh, snap.
Okay. How can you say that the game is not built for camping? Let's just take one very popular example, Call of Duty, right? That's kind of the big one that everybody complains about camping the most. If it's not clear, I'm going to just say this up front. I love camping. Love it. So much fun. So, but the game gives you tools and weapons so that you can build a loadout for camping. So the game allows it, so you can't say that the game
allows it. Yeah,
it's not intended for the game.
I just think so. Back in the day, in older games, before the services that we have today were hosting their own lobbies and everything like that, you had individuals who would host them. Mm-hmm. And when camping became a prominent thing, you'd have a moderator who hosted that server, and they didn't like it. They would introduce negative impacts, like you would move slower or your stuff wouldn't do as much damage and stuff like that if you didn't move enough in the game. And I think that clearly in the beginning of camping, it wasn't well liked. It was very poorly received. People did not like it.
We agree on that it's not well liked.
Now, well, of course. Now, I get that in these games it'd be much harder to have a moderator do that regularly.
Not harder, impossible.
Sure.
If you're playing in a public lobby with just randos all the time,
you could do it. I mean, you could do the same thing. You can impose a little tax on something like their movement speed or their damage output or something to that effect on anyone who doesn't move X amount of feet in X amount of time. And you would make it so that it made sense for, someone who was camping, not like immediately when you stop moving. You wouldn't have to worry if you were just stopping to, look around a corner or you're waiting for some fire to die down or whatever it was. I think that it would be possible. Clearly, they don't care because they don't do it, but it is possible. I'm just not a fan of it overall. I think that it
Why?
Right.
Yeah.
I just think that it doesn't bring about a fun playing experience for the people who are actually doing this run and gun type of combat, which is what people are there to do. When you run around a corner, you die, and you find out where you get killed from, and you're like, I couldn't even have killed that guy from here if I wanted to. He's just sitting there aiming down sights the whole time, waiting for someone to run around a corner because he knows that there's a spawn point right around that corner, and he's just going to get you. As soon as you pop that corner, you're gone. And I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
So, kind of addressing that, I don't think that there's any certain way that a multiplayer shooter like this, because I think that this topic very heavily encompasses just multiplayer shooters, right? There might be a few outliers.
There definitely are. I mean, there's camping in games like World of Warcraft, and you could camp an enemy player. There's where they're coming back from the graveyard, or
that's spawn camping. That's kind of different from camping.
But a lot of camping exists in these games, camping spawn points. So in a way, it can be seen as similar. I mean, when you look at World of Warcraft, for example, you might have a group of a few people, and this was very common back in the day. You'd have a group of a few people camping the graveyard so that if somebody came back to life, there'd be people there ready to kill them.
I've experienced
Or
that.
If they went back to their body, you'd have somebody waiting at the body to do the same thing. And
it's a different style of camping, though.
It is a different style, and I don't hate that quite as much because, I feel like
that should be opposite. I feel like that you should kind of resent that more because that just seems like, from my experience you're talking about the battlegrounds, the PvP in...
No, I'm talking about open world PvP. So just in the regular world. And the reason that I don't hate it as much is because that person made a choice to play on a PvP server knowing full well what they were getting themselves into. Maybe they didn't when they first made their first character.
Okay, we're going to go on this World of Warcraft tangent for a second because in Battlegrounds, though, people do also do that. There is a graveyard in Battlegrounds that you can go to your... I don't think you can go to your body in Battlegrounds, though, right?
No, you spawn at the graveyard. So
but
you could have a few people...
The graveyard.
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it once or twice.
I don't like that style of camping, and I think there's really one reason, and I think that the viewers will probably try to accuse me of being a hypocrite on this. But when you are spawn camping the graveyard in something like World of Warcraft, you are taking yourself, which is a valuable resource for your team, and you are using it to serve that purpose rather than going after the objective of the game.
And that is a reason it's bad, and because of that reason, most of the time, the team that's doing that is going to lose. The other reason I don't like that, because you're taking yourself away as a resource. Yeah. So the other reason I don't like that is because if you have 2 to 3 people camping the graveyard, you're probably only getting one spawn at a time. You're going to easily overpower that person, put them right back in the graveyard on a 30-second timer. The next person's going to spawn, you're going to kill them, and then you're going to wait for the next one. And so you kind of have an unfair advantage, whereas in these games, you may have an unfair advantage tactically, but they have a choice to go a different direction.
So that's kind of what I want to bring it now to the first person shooters, though. Not first person, just multiplayer shooters, because
multiplayer shooters
exists.
It's the number one thing for these. It's much more focused on these.
Yes.
Camping in World of Warcraft or games like that is probably a lot less common than.
While one can make the point that you can, as a camper in a game like Call of Duty, you can camp respawn points and things like that, or camp a certain spot that is neglectful of the objective. However, there's a lot of different game modes in a game like Call of Duty. Like, for example, in Domination, if you can camp one of the capture points, then you are actively helping your team by securing that area, an area that is the purpose of the game to secure.
And I do feel differently when it comes to something like domination. When it comes to
That's what I'm talking about, like domination.
when it comes,
capture the flag.
definitely domination. As soon as you said that, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that makes sense, because you kind of have to be out of harm's way, because you want to stay there.
Yeah.
So you don't just want to be standing there next to the point, because someone's gonna run around the corner and kill you.
But I think where we're gonna start contending a little bit more in opinion is like, what if it's like a team deathmatch sort of scenario?
Yeah, that's where I think it's a little different. I don't think that people should be doing it with team deathmatch, with free for all. Free for all is a little different. Free for all is not like a real game. It's like,
Yeah, let's stay with team deathmatch for a second.
team deathmatch, games like that where there's no objective that has to do with a capture point, just a kill number, right?
But if you're the camper though, and I've played games like this. Like I said, I'm a big camper. I'll share a brief little story. And this is Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Okay.
There's a map that's the what's it called? The yacht one.
I know the one. Yeah, they've brought it back.
Oh my god, this is, you know what? In the middle of us talking, I'm just gonna say hijack. That's what it's called.
There you go.
It's called hijack. So in the map hijack,
got it.
It's a big, yeah. Thanks. So there's this big yacht, and then up in like the bridge area, there's only 2 entrances into it. There's a doorway in the front and a doorway to the side, and then you can sit in that room, which I did, with a pump action shotgun. You take the riot shield, plant it in the ground in front of you, put claymores at the doorways, put a trophy system down so that way if anybody wants to throw smoke grenades or whatever, the trophy system destroys it. You just stand behind there with your shotgun and you blast people as they come in through the door. And then you have scavenger. So that way you go to their bodies, collect your equipment back, and you place more claymores and more trophy systems. And then your score streaks, which is the guardian that you would choose, put that to cover the doorway so that would blast people as they come in. And then you do the same thing with the sentry gun. And I've played games like that where I've literally gone like 50-5.
So what's the downside for playing like that? Is there an objective-based downside?
No, because if you are getting way more kills than deaths in a team deathmatch game, you are contributing to the success of your team. The downside in playing like that is really just geared towards the individual. It's a lot like fishing.
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
If you're fishing, you can throw your line out in the water and just sit there forever and not catch a bite, or you can throw your line out there and you can just catch bites all day, and that's when fishing is fun.
So what you're saying is that some games you may go in and you may just dominate, and other games you may go in and not do a lot.
Because maybe nobody actually goes to the area that you're camping.
Meaning it is a downside for the objective, because the objective is to get the kills.
True, but if you're also not getting deaths, like if I was going to run around in that game and say go like 12-10, 12 kills, 10 deaths.
That's fair.
But then if I'm in the camping mode and I'm just sitting there and I get like 2 kills and 0 deaths, I mean, technically, I am in a positive KD in my game.
Yeah, and you didn't contribute to the loss. But maybe you did contribute to the loss, because maybe you could have gone 20-10.
Maybe.
And then you would have won if it was a difference of that many deaths,
Maybe, but you can't prove a negative, though. You can't say, like, prove something that didn't happen, right? You can't say could have or would have.
Oh, I mean.
Right, you can't.
Okay.
But to get a little bit more on kind of we're philosophy of gaming.
Well, duh.
To get a little bit on the philosophical side of this, what I think is the reason why people don't like camping is because it exploits a weakness that a lot of the run and gunners do. All these run and gunners, they think that is the way that Call of Duty should be played because that's the way that they play. Now some of these guys, look, I can play Call of Duty in many different ways. I can quickscope, I can camp, I can run and gun, I can do it all.
Nobody's ever beat him.
That's not true. I've been beaten, rare though it may be. It's happened
Twice.
You're just really inflating my ego today. I won't be able to fit through the door
Definitely
later.
what I'm doing.
But a lot of guys that will just run around with some sort of SMG, try to be as quick as they can, and they will put whatever gear on their weapon they can to shave fractions of seconds off of their aim down sight time in order to get their little sight picture and then just nail somebody as soon as they see them. And those guys, they have a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong. They're probably way better at running and gunning than I am. And so those little fractions of a second make a difference to them. They're perfecting what they do. The problem is that they come across somebody like me who just either sits in a window with a sniper rifle or sits in a hallway with a shotgun. They're sitting there. Their eyes are very attuned to movement. So they can see somebody moving. They know there's a person there. Flick, shot, dead. They're very good at this. But when you're sitting still and you're camping, they're not looking for somebody who's just sitting still. So they round a corner, blam, you get them. And it just does something to their ego. And I think that's kind of where more of the fun kicks in for camping, because when you do that, they get so mad and they just keep on coming back for more and more and more.
And then they kill you and they feel so satisfied, but you've killed them 6 times.
Well, in my experience, I'm basing a lot of this on Black Ops 2, because that was my heyday for Call of Duty. I would literally go games north of 30 kills and then less than 5 deaths on average by playing this, depending on the map. There's some maps where you just can't play like that. But also some of those kills have to do with the score streaks that you get too. Like you might send your attack helicopter to go around and it's just blasting people because you're not dying. You're just getting all these kills and it might take you a while, but you still get it. There is a fun, admittedly, trolling aspect to playing like that. And I think that's where I started to have a lot of fun playing Call of Duty and camping, because again, these guys would just get so mad. They get mad at everybody though. Unless you're playing the way that they do, you suck. You're the worst COD player ever.
No, if they're killing you, you suck.
Yeah, I mean, if you're killing them, you suck even more. Like,
that's what I mean,
why you gotta be a sniper? Yeah, it takes no skill to be a sniper. Oh, why you gotta camp? It takes no skill to camp.
Yeah.
But so basically, what you're saying is, unless I can play like you in a playstyle that you have perfected, then you're saying I suck. But here's the other side of it. They're basing their play style simply on dexterity, hand-eye coordination, and skill and reaction time.
Oh, just on that, huh?
That's what the run and gunners do. Which it's not a just. It's a strong
fair
thing to
amount
have.
of items.
Yeah, it's a good skill set to have. However, a camper is a lot more tactical. It's a lot more strategy based. It's a different way of playing the game, and the game allows a wide variety of different play styles that have to interact with each other in the game. So I don't think that it shouldn't be allowed. I get why it makes people mad, but when it makes people mad, if you're a run and gunner and you get mad at campers, that's a you problem. That's what I think.
You say start camping. If you get mad at campers, just start camping.
Yeah. But here's the thing too, not everybody is also good at camping either. I played games running and gunning, coming across campers, and I might find a good camper like myself who just kills me over and over, and it's frustrating. I'll just go and stay away from them. I also find other campers that are just trash and you just blow them away every time, and they can't hold ground to save their lives. So it's not like it's a guaranteed cheap way to always do good. I mean, there is a bit of an art to it, for sure.
Yeah. I get that. I think I'm still a no, though. I mean, I don't know, and maybe someone can tell me, are there game modes in these games, in these Battlefield games, in these Call of Duty games that do what I explained earlier, where you essentially cannot camp? You're penalized for camping? Because if there are, I want to play those too. I want to check both of them out and kind of see what the difference would be like.
It's actually kind of funny. You mentioned Battlefield. That's a game where camping is far more prominent.
Is it?
Because of snipers. In Battlefield, there's snipers that are taking positions. It's such a
it's a bigger map. Yeah.
Yeah. So people are taking spots on hills, behind bushes, hiding behind corners and stuff like
I'd say
that.
I minded a little bit less in a game like that then, with a much larger map.
Okay.
I think that you have a much lower chance of getting caught in their line of sights. They're probably just camping on top of a hill trying to find people.
Yeah,
they're
sniping.
not specifically looking around one corner, and the shotgun method that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That method I don't like quite
it's
as much.
glorious, though.
But
It's
I'm
great.
still going to say that I'm a no.
Okay, so verdict time. Marshal, camping or no?
No.
Correct.
Correct, he says.
No, correct for
You're
you.
done.
No. Saying you say no. It's like, okay, correct. That is the way that you play this game, by actually giving an answer.
Yeah.
Mine, camping, abso-freaking-lutely. I love it. It's fun, and it's frustrating for all the cocky, arrogant tryhards that are out there. I think that everybody can use a little bit more humility, and if there's a play style that forces a little bit more humility for these guys, whether they choose to do something with it or not, the better.
So what do you guys think? Are you a cocky, arrogant tryhard? Do you think that camping belongs in video games? Do you think that it shouldn't be in video games? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Interact with us. Let us know what you think. If we missed anything, if there's something else we should cover, we really want to hear from you. Also, subscribe. We've got a bunch of other videos that are out now. We're really looking forward to making this a thing that we do on a regular basis. So
and we have a lot more in the pipeline too. So
Definitely.
even if multiplayer shooters aren't your thing, we
Stick
will
around.
likely be talking about something very soon that is your thing. So
Stick around.
Stick with us for sure.
All right. And that's it.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time on the next episode of Philosophy of Gaming.